All right, let's try another 2" by 2" reflection card. We're going to go, for the most part, with one stamp here. I think that's going to fill in just about everything that we have the space for. When it comes to the use of one of the new images that's about to be released in about a week, I'm guessing. All right, it's this cabin with this walkway leading to it. I don't know how much of that we're going to see. Well, a 2" by 2" portion of this, okay. But see where that cabin is right there? I've drawn a little line right here, roughly around where that cabin is, okay? Now, normally you would just, if you're doing a scene, you just stamp out this whole thing on a card, but we're doing such a small portion of it for the purpose of this kind of challenge / exercise that we just don't have the room for the whole thing, so I always say it, the way these designs have been made is so that you can use them in their entirety, portions of them in conjunction with other sibling designs within the line or stamps from other companies, okay? Trying to make them as versatile as possible. All right, so there we have that cabin like that, all right? Now, these rocks go down right in here, and you can see where this line was. So I'm going to try to get these rocks right here and a portion of this in my reflection card area. So let me get the gist of it. Okay, so it's going to be roughly, I want it roughly where this little portion juts out, okay? Because it's right about there, okay? A little bit up from, well, I guess that's about right there. Okay, so we're stamping on a piece of the silver cardstock. Let me look at this again. Okay, so I know how high to go, but how far inward do I go with that? Let's see. I think it's roughly around, this is backwards though, so it's like that. All right, and down, and this goes in this way. Sometimes doing these little cards gets confusing. It doesn't have to be that confusing. Just as long as I get kind of the area, I find in these reflection cards that's kind of fine, but all right. So we'll go down about, I think I need to go down here a little bit more. We'll go about like that. Okay, so remember it stays on ink, so you don't want to hold it down too long because it stays on ink can dry really fast. You don't want it to dry and then you lift this up and it's, the ink is stuck to the rubber instead of transferred to the surface. All right, so that's what that is looking like there, if you can see that. It's hard to see. And we're pairing it like that. See that right there? So get the reflection of the cabin down in that space. Now maybe I should have stamped this a little bit lower with this out here because that's supposed to represent the water too, but I'll darken that. Okay, so let's do this right here too. This area up in here, although it's a very small little space, this is only 2 inches, so it's like a 1 inch, little area. I want to have a rising moon right back in there. I thought that would be kind of interesting. So let's give that a try. We'll try to make it, somewhat of a dramatic little statement back in here. Like about like that. let's grab some white pigment ink, like so. And if you go into your trees, it's going to be okay. Let's see here. You can make your mind up as far as whether this is a rising moon or a setting one. Now the background paper it's fairly light, so this might not show up very much because it's white against very light, as opposed to white against medium or dark. But I think it makes a decent enough statement that it stands out enough. Okay, so let's add in. I might add in some color into this too, but let me add a little bit more of shadow work with a black colored pencil. We'll add a little bit of tone around our windows. Now these windows on this cabin, I've made it where it's a little bit more of a nighttime statement with the windows kind of open and light as opposed to darker, like in a daytime type of scenario. But you can, if you're doing like a sunset out here or something, you'd put the sunset colors on the window pane. But this white going into that window setting like this now gives you a value to that basically matches the or it relates to the moon. Okay, so we'll put some of these highlights on top of our rock area in here. Like this. I'm kind of putting on top of the rocks. As opposed to coloring in the rock in its entirety, you'd kind of just put it on the top surface. And you get more of this color in the medium area. And then down below, there's the shadows just that are inherent on the designs themselves. Let's pull out these posts a little bit, these columns, or I don't know, whatever. Try to bring that out a little bit more. Okay, now this area right in here, I think it'd be best to create some shadows as these rocks transition into the water. Just because this is a reflection card in this case, so having this kind of really light against that silver lower area like that, is a little bit awkward of a transition, so we'll tone that in. And you say, well, silver is not dark. It's it's light because it's reflecting light. It's only when it's reflecting a lot of light. So here it is like lighter than white, and here it is, much darker than white right here. All right, so I'm gonna do something up here in these trees. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a. Oh, let's go with some greens right up here, just for a little bit of color variation. You wouldn't really see all these, different tones in a nighttime type of scenario, but this is stamping, and we can say, whatever. Artistic, what do you call it? Not artistic freedom, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'll think of it after I stop this video. Okay, let's see. I'm going for a couple different tones in here. I don't know. I want to make this kind of as interesting as possible with variations since it's just such a small little space, but I just want to show people that they can really kind of add some decent variety to such a small, little whatever graphic statement. Here's some brown here for this wood. Here's a bluish tone. Maybe I can put some into these rocks maybe, and down in this water space. And then we have this moon coming right over the tops of those trees. So let's put some of that moonlight reflecting off of the trees, tree branches, whatever, trunks, whatever. Little sparkles in the water, like about like so. So that, like that, and it pairs with this right here for our water's edge type of scenario. See, can you see that? Or is that out of focus? There we go. Let's focus a little bit more. Okay, so this was supposed to be all water right in here, but I notice here it looks like a little bit of a shoreline right there. Well, that's kind of interesting. So I don't mind that. Okay, let me get this taped in. I'm going to tape this in. It's so much easier. This thing's all flipping around on me. Here, I can show this right here. For larger pieces, I like using spray adhesive, but, this is such a dinky little project here. I'm just using my crafter's tape. That, I put it in a little bit crooked. That crafter's tape is so aggressive. I'll have to cut it, cut it to size here. I'll cut off a little bit off the edges, which I usually do anyways. Okay. All right. I was just going to go with the one stamp, but I really want to get a little bit of extra foreground in here. We'll just go with the reeds. All right, I got something gooey, sticky there. So we'll go with the stays on and the reeds down here. If you can see those reeds right stamped right there, trying to get an angle so you can see it. All right, but anyways, see this right here? Get that, and you get this little mini diorama like that. Three-dimensional. It's kind of fun. It's like a little project or something like that. Three-dimensional little project without any of the really having to do three-dimensional types of techniques to achieve it. And you have a little bit of this lakeside pop-up scenario. 2" by 2". All right, thanks for watching.